Hello there, and a very big welcome to the Ultimate Guide to Profitable Webinars. I'm really excited that you're here joining me today. I am excited because although I've been doing webinars and running webinars all about webinars for quite some time, I've got some new stuff, I've got new enthusiasm, and I've got so much that I want to share with you. And I'm going to be rattling through it really quickly. So what I want to do first of all is kind of just give you the lowdown on the domestics, on how all this runs. If you scroll down, you'll see a chat box. And all you need to do in that chat box is let me know that you can hear me, just put hi, tell me where you're from, that would be cool. And if you've got any questions, periodically I'll have a little look, and I'll certainly be taking questions at the end if I don't manage to get to your question as we go through the webinar itself. Now, I've promised no fluff, no great big long intros, and I've got masses of content to share with you. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to be rattling through at the speed of 1,000 gazelles. But I just wanted to come on camera first to welcome you, to say hi, and thank you so much for joining me and giving up an hour of your time on a Saturday afternoon if you're in my sort of side of the world, and morning if you're across the pond. So one last little reminder, if you didn't yet manage to download your workbook so that you can follow along and take notes, there's a little button that's popped up underneath this live video. You can click on that, right click, open it in a new window, and then if you're all hooked up to your printer, you can print that and take some notes. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and just get into a very short introduction. And here we go. I hope you're ready to take loads of notes. So first of all then, why webinars? Now, the thing is, I'm not going to go massively into this because I sent you a link to a pre-webinar goodies page with a video with lots of reasons why webinars. And if you haven't had a chance to watch that yet, go back and watch it. But brief reminder, you can basically use webinars for a whole bunch of different reasons, and we're going to go through that. Also on this webinar, I'm going to be teaching you masses of content. Like I said, I'm going to go really quickly. I am going to tell you at the end how you can get your hands on some more great information. I promise that's only going to take 5 minutes, and you can time me. All right, maybe 5.5, but time me. I'm going to aim to get it in within 5 minutes. This is going to be a content webinar. As I promised, it's not going to be a pitch fest. At the end as well, I'm going to give you a free webinar checklist to download so that you nail a profitable webinar every single time. Plus, I've got an ebook that you can download. And at the end, I'm going to give you my most valuable webinar top tip when it comes to being profitable. Okay, and then of course, I will answer all your questions if I haven't covered them already. So that's what we're going to be covering. So like I said, why webinars? There's a whole video on that, but they're quick, easy, and cheap to test. They are so much less hassle for people to attend. If you have a live event, number one, you've got to book a hotel room. There's a cost involved in that. And then if the numbers of people don't show up, you could end up out of pocket. It's easier for people to attend webinars because they haven't got to worry about traveling then. They haven't got to worry about accommodation or childcare or parking or any of that malarkey or other commitments. There's no geographical constraints. You're not limited to just people in your local area. And for a lot of people, they are less daunting than live seminars. So, for a lot of people, technology can be a little bit daunting, and that's what I'm here to help with, is to take you through all of that. But they are an amazing way of increasing the know, like, and trust. And that's what you need to attract clients to you. And webinars will also establish you as the expert. So if that's not good enough reasons, I don't know what. But like I said, watch that video and you get more. Now, here's some startling statistics for you. A lot of people spend a lot of money on marketing, PR, adverts, and all that kind of thing. But the problem is we see anything between 3 to 20,000 marketing messages every single day. And that's crazy. And statistically, and this really shocked the living daylights out of me, statistically, a person is more likely to survive a plane crash than they are to click on your banner advert. I mean, that's mental. So you want to be seen and heard above all of that marketing noise. And that's where webinars come in. They work if they're done right. So where are you now, okay, on webinars? With 1 being low, 10 being high, I want you to rate yourself and put it in the chat box on the results you've been getting from your webinars and the level of confidence that you have about running profitable webinars. If you do that for me and type it in the chat box, that will be cool. And I will come and have a look at those. But what I want you to really think about is, you know, what would it take to get you up to 10? And that's what I'm here for. So I'm guessing you want to really make a difference and increase your income. A lot of the people I work with, it's one or the other of these, but in a lot of cases it's both. But most of the people I work with are really passionate about making a difference in the world. And it's not about all the money. You know, I'm not here to say, oh yeah, you can earn 7 figures or even 6 figures. It's about being who you are. It's about making a difference to your, you know, peeps. But what is it? And I also want you to write this down. What was it that made you sign up for this webinar today? Is it because maybe as yet you don't have enough clients? Perhaps your list is very small. What that might mean is that you don't yet have the income that you really like. But the biggest problem, like I've just mentioned, is that you don't feel you're making that difference that you really want to make. And that can lead you to feeling that you're, you know, not walking your talk. Okay, so I'm guessing what you want instead is a massive subscriber list, plentiful clients. You do want to make a big difference to the people that you work with, and you want to make a big difference to more people. And it would be really nice if you have the income for your dream life. And like I said, that doesn't have to be 7 or 6 figures. I'm living proof that actually you can live your dream life without earning 7 figures or even 6 figures. The point is that you become a role model for the kind of people that, you know, that you want to follow you. And that's what it's really all about. So the vehicle to do that is the ability to run profitable webinars. And I'm just going to take a little peek for some of the questions. Okay, we got people from all over the place: UK, States, oh, Netherlands, hi. Okay, brilliant. Oh, never done a webinar, feel really nervous. Well, we're going to sort all that out for you. And we got some low numbers there on the confidence and whether or not you've done them. So you're in the right place, and that makes me really happy, because I'm not here to, you know, the people who are doing this and they've been doing it for years, they know what they're doing. I want to help you guys, you know, the people who are beginning, the people who are struggling. I know what it's like to struggle. So the thing is, how do you learn to get good at webinars? Well, you can do it the way that I did it. I'm one of these, jump in at the deep end, and I learned by the school of hard knocks. I also learned off other people that I found afterwards had no idea what they were actually doing. Some people like, you know, reading books, watching other videos, and it can all end up leaving you feeling really, really confused. So let me tell you why you should learn from me, and I promise again I'm going to keep this very brief. First of all, on paper, I should have been mega successful. I had all the qualifications in terms of coaching, training, fellow of the CIPD, master NLP, practitioner, all the trainer stuff, you name it, I had it all. But I bombed, absolutely bombed in terms of earning, because I was crap at promoting myself, if I'm quite honest. Then I got the right mentoring, which led to my first 5-figure month and a regular monthly income. And for those of you who don't know me, I used to live in Plymouth, and my big passion is salsa dancing, which I do at every opportunity. And for years, I've had a dream to move to the sunshine. I really wanted to move to Gibraltar. And I'm happy to say, I don't actually live in Gibraltar now. In the end, I prefer to live just across the border in Spain. And I was lucky to move there this year. And the little picture that is on the far right hand side is the view of the sunrise out of my window. So, you know, I've been there, I've done it, I've struggled, and I can help you avoid some of the mistakes I made and point you in the right direction. And that's basically what it's all about. So the way that I do that is by helping you through the profitable webinar blueprint, which I put together from a combination of proven theories that work, from people that I followed who did know what they were doing, plus all my own experience, and I've broken it down into easy to follow steps. So let's get into the content. We're, what, just under 10 minutes in now, so I've gone on a little bit longer than I intended to, but I promise that you are going to get such a lot of great value from this content. So let me dive straight in to a couple of things that make the difference, and these are things that people are worried about when it comes to running webinars, because let's face it, and we all, you know, get on social media and we hear what people say, and there's some things that people hate about webinars. And they hate these long-winded intros, you know, the ones that take about half an hour and don't get to the point. Long-winded personal stories, which are quite frankly irrelevant, or they're nothing more than an ego stroke, and look at me, how brilliant I am, and all that kind of thing. Webinars that lack any valuable content at all, they're just full of hot air and fluff. And then some of them are nothing more than just a one big, long, mega pitch fest. You know, that's plain disrespectful. And they're promoting programs that absolutely cost a fortune. And those programs turn out to be just as wishy-washy as the webinar itself. And it all leads to false promises and what I call rip-off. You know, you feel that you've been reeled in, your promises are not met, you end up out of pocket and feeling frustrated. Well, I'm here to end all that, not only because I want to offer amazing value to people who follow me, but I want to teach you how you can give amazing value and create an amazing following of people who are going to love you, see you as the go-to person, see you as the genuine person, but at the same time who want to buy your stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's all about that as well. You know, you can't just give out stuff all the time and not earn a living. Otherwise, you're going to end up, you know, packing boxes in Sainsbury's or something. So it's about getting that right balance. Okay, webinars don't have to be like that. As I said, you've got to get that balance, okay? And it's that balance between creating desire in people so that they want more of what you've got to offer. It's about delivering amazing content, giving great value, and doing so and getting people to happily buy your stuff, while at the same time you retain, you know, your integrity, you follow great ethics, and you know, people respect you for it. And there are people out there who are doing that really successfully. There's an awful lot who are not, but there are. It is possible to do it. So webinars can be fantastic, and let's, you know, give them a really good name. So let's tell you about some of the 5 mistakes. First of all, not getting the right training, probably because you're too busy. You know, you're doing all these other things, put your programs together, coaching, trying to find clients, going networking, and it's really difficult. And this is certainly a mistake that I made. I didn't make time for training, and a couple of things that, you know, you really need to be aware of is that speaking, just being a great speaker doesn't mean to say that you can speak to sell your stuff and do it with integrity. And I found this the hard way. Also, speaking on stage is very different from speaking on webinars. So it's important, you know, and I don't care if you don't decide to do your training with me, that's fine, but do it with somebody, you know, get some training. You can get great training if you're prepared to spend hours, you know, getting the right stuff from YouTube and making sure that you know, follow people who do know what they're doing. But make sure you do get some training and do it right. The second one, no planning. Oh, I was dreadful at this. I am, or at least I have been, a dive in at the deep end kind of girl, and I just ran webinars and I had no plans, no process, and guess what? I made no profit. So I'm going to, you know, again, help you avoid the mistakes that I made, and I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more later on in more depth. Now, mistake number 3, people don't use a visual model for their stuff. They just send out the entire program, the entire webinar, totally in text, with lots and lots and lots of bullet points, which doesn't grab the audience's attention. It's not memorable. Now, it's fine to use bullet points. I use them, but don't make the whole thing complete bullet points. You know, vary it up a bit. And most importantly, people need signposts. So you need to use a visual model for people to get their head around. Now, I haven't got time to go into this part in massive detail because, I mean, in all fairness, I'm not going to be able to teach you absolutely everything I know about, profitable webinars in just an hour. It's just not possible. But I'm going to point you in the right direction. I'm going to give you the overview of what to do, and I'm going to be giving you enough to, at the very least, go and explore some more, and that you will be able to take action. So here's number one action for you. This is my top number one secret. Start playing with putting your stuff and hanging it around a visual model. Okay, mistake number 4, it's a weak presentation. Okay, it usually goes one of two ways. It's either all full of hot air and fluff and is a complete pitch fest, no value whatsoever, or it goes the other way. It's 95% brilliant value, excellent content, but then there's this like 5% awkward sale tagged onto the end, and it just doesn't work. Now, at the very end of this webinar, I'm going to be revealing my top trade secret number 2 on how to do this, but you've got to stick around right to the very end because I'm saving the best till last. I do that with my food. I don't know about you guys. I always save like my best food to last on the plate. People do laugh at me, but that's what I always do, and I'm doing that on the webinar too. Mistake number 5, failing to follow up. Now, the big money in a webinar is in the follow-up. It's not on the webinar itself. You absolutely must have a follow-up process. And again, I'm going to be sharing more on how to do that later on. So let me give you some key insights here. These mistakes are made because of lack of training. With the right training, it is easy to stand out, make a great impression, and make sales, not awkwardly, but elegantly. And that's what I'm here to do. So let me introduce you to the Profitable Webinar Blueprint in more detail. So the first P. Now, if you don't do this, you are going to end up not having everything lined up. A bit like this road bridge. It could end up being a disaster. What it means is that you're going to be putting in lots of effort, but you'll get no reward. That leads to frustration. And trust me, it's demoralizing. Your confidence drops, and you can end up looking a total amateur. This P is planning. I've mentioned it already, okay, and it is crucial. It is essential but often overlooked. Let me give you some tips here. Now, well, first of all, let me tell you what I did wrong. I didn't do any planning. Like I said, I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl, just jump in at the deep end. And I didn't plan at all. I just had this great idea. Oh, I'll do a webinar every week. Sounds good. And what happened was I burnt myself out. I gave lots of great content. I earned less than $100. And that's because none of my webinars were planned properly. If I do them every single week, there's no way you can plan to do everything and take advantage of everything that's available to you in the way that webinars work. Now, yes, you can run a webinar really quickly. So let's say some new product comes on the market and you want to tell people about it. You can actually run a webinar like this afternoon. But I don't advise that if you want to promote your programs. Okay, you've got to put some time and effort into the planning of them and the other stuff that I'm going to be telling you about later. So what happened was I didn't do it properly. I ended up just doing loads and loads of webinars, none of them working. I felt absolutely dreadful. So you need to think about, what would this mean for you? Yeah, how are you going to use webinars? Write that down and put it in the chat box. Tell me how are you going to use your webinars. I'm just looking at some of the questions. Just somebody saying, Teresa say gorgeous view. Yeah, I'm lucky, aren't I? Okay. Jean is saying, I've logged in twice, but I get a black screen and a turning wheel. Everybody else seems to be okay, Jean, and sending me the right kind of messages. So yes, there will be a recording. It may be an internet problem on your end. That's one of the disadvantages of modern technology, sorry. Anyway, yes, you've got to think about how do webinars fit with your overall strategy. How are you going to use them? What's going to be the purpose? How often should you run them? Live or automated, or both? You know, what should your webinar topics be about? What other things do I need to think of, like share incentives? How am I, going to get people to turn up? How am I going to get people to stick around on the webinar itself? How are you going to then use them within your funnel? And how are you going to monetize them? Okay, and I'm going to give you a webinar planning template PDF at the end of this webinar. So that's my incentive to you to stick around right to the very end. You will get that document at the end of this webinar, and you can download it and use it to help you with your planning. Okay, so planning is really, really important. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you at the end how you can get your hands on a free one-to-one webinar planning session with me. So I can tell you and help you and work out with you how to plan your webinar strategy so that you will be successful with them. So that's planning. Okay, now the next P. If you don't do this, you're going to end up either not giving enough and giving yourself a bad name, or you're going to give out too much and end up, like I've explained already, with exhaustion, feeling used and abused. Your confidence can go down, and you'll end up feeling demoralized and burned out. Now, a lot of the consequences of all of these different elements lead to the same kind of thing, but every single one of these elements is really important. Now, this next one is all about your presentation. Okay, so I have a 5C killer presentation blueprint, which is made up of construct, craft, captivate, charm, and continuous improvement. And I'm going to run through these really quickly for you so that you know how to do each bit of this process. Again, webinars are slightly different. There's certain magic ingredients if you're promoting a program, and I really can't go into every single part of that process right now. I'll be sharing a little bit with you at the end, like I said, on how to promote and my top webinar tip. But very quickly, let's go through these. Now, you always start with your construction, like building a house. You have to, absolutely have to, start with the foundations. You have to construct your presentation. So you don't start there and start typing into the first PowerPoint slide or on paper. You actually have to construct out your clear sections. So this might sound silly, but you need a beginning, a middle, and an end. And most people do not have a good beginning, and they certainly do not have a good end. Okay, it's what I call the introduction, conclusion of the body. It's not memorable opening and ending. It has to be easy to follow. This is where the visual model comes in. It has to be clearly signposted. People have to be able to know where you are in your presentation. Right now, you know that I'm in the second P of my ultimate guide to profitable blueprint, profitable webinars blueprint. And also, you know that I'm in the first C of my 5 C's killer presentation bit, yeah? So it's clearly signposted. And then you have to have, obviously, a compelling call to action at the end. Once you've done your construction, then you need to craft each point so that it's compelling and memorable. And there's loads of tools available to help you craft each point, okay? So, things like stories, anecdotes, make it relevant to your audience. So, how is this going to help them? What does it mean for them? So you really need to make sure that each point is crafted once you start writing your presentation. Once you've done that, then you add in the enhancements. This is what I call Captivate, okay? You add in the enhancements that will keep your audience enthralled, like teenagers with a crush on teacher. So let me give you a little example here. If I was going to be telling my story and I was going to be talking about, when things were really bad for me, and I might be saying, yeah, I felt terrible. Instead, you could, instead of saying, well, I felt terrible, you say, when I was faced with the deepest darkness of despair. That's an enhancement. It uses various different rhetorical devices to help you get that point across in a more rich way than without using these enhancements. And then it's all about your delivery, okay? And there's lots to how you deliver it. Basically, you want to be able to charm the birds out of the trees. A lot of this is to do with things like the non-verbal communication. Now, on stage, you have body language to use. And all of the kind of studies show you that body language is the most, kind of the biggest part of communication. Well, guess what? On a webinar, especially if you're using voiceover slide presentation like I'm doing, you don't have that body language. So you have to make up for this in your voice. You have to be able to deliver with passion, with enthusiasm. You don't have to be, jumping up and down like Tigger on speed. You don't have to be a kind of crazy mad thing. And you absolutely do have to have your own personality. You have to put pauses in. You have to give people time to think. There is so much to this, but once you've done all the content writing, then you need to go back and think, how am I going to deliver this? Pay attention to timings and all that kind of stuff. And then you have to just keep continuously improving it. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep tweaking it. Nobody gets it right first time. All of the professional speakers out there who look amazingly slick and brilliant, do you know how many times they've delivered that same presentation? Probably hundreds. Probably the first time they did it, they made all sorts of mistakes. They probably delivered it to 5 people or 10 people in the beginning when they were starting out with a particular presentation. Okay, so you continuously improve the same one. Don't always do new, different ones all the time. Yes, you can tweak them, improve them, add new stuff in, but don't make the mistake of doing completely different things all the time. Yes, you might want a range of, maybe half a dozen presentations that you do regularly for different reasons, but you don't want to be doing a different one like I try to do every single week. It's just not going to work for you. Okay, so those are my 5 C's of presentation: construct, craft, captivate, charm, and then continuous improvement. Now, one of the things which I want to kind of talk about here is that you do have this special structure, which is when you're promoting stuff. And if anybody wants to have a chat with me and know how to get that, that's one of the things I'm going to be telling you about a bit later on, with how you get your hands on more information. But that's a massive kind of overview of the presentation part itself. So, presentation. Now, the next thing, and it's linked, the consequence of this next P and not getting this is mega stress. Lots and lots and lots of frustration, overwhelm, lost time, believe me, lost money, exhaustion, and then back to the things I talked about before. Your confidence goes down, you end up feeling rubbish, you start dropping your prices, you think nobody's going to buy from me, you feel demoralized, and you end up getting burned out. This is all about your platform. Okay, how are you going to choose your webinar platform? Now, there's lots of different ones here. You've got, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with them, GoToWebinar, Evergreen Business Systems. You may not have heard of this one, but Meet Cheap, run by a company called GVO. Easy Webinar plugin, that's the one I'm using today. In the old days, it used to be Instant Teleseminar and AnyMeeting, and then there's a whole load of others. Webinar Jam is a very, very popular one, and other ones that I've used as well, Webinar Ignition and Webinar Express. That's not an exhaustive list. There are hundreds of them. So what is the best one? Now, first of all, before I tell you what's the best one, if any of you have got a webinar platform already, type it into the chat box for me. It'd be really cool to find out. And a lot of people say to me, Tina, which is the best webinar platform? And quite simply, there's no such thing as the best. And if anybody tries to tell you any particular one is the best, then don't listen to them, because they don't know what they're talking about. I have my favorites, which I'm going to share with you, but those are particular reasons for me. They may not be the right reasons for you. The thing is, your platform of choice is going to depend upon things such as your style of presentation, the kind of functionality you want from your webinar, how easy is it to use, what kind of budget do you have? You may have no budget, in which case that's not a problem, because I'm going to tell you in a minute how you can run a webinar for free without even buying a platform. Okay, so let me talk about a few of these things. For example, GoToWebinar, the old classic, is very easy to use. You know, it's great for education. It's a bit limited in that if you use your webcam, it will not record the webcam. I had a really good mentor of mine, sadly no longer with us. He was a professional speaker and I did a lot of his training, and he did a most amazing webinar, which was all using his webcam with a whiteboard behind him. And he used GoToWebinar, not realizing that it was not recorded, and all what recorded was his voice because the webcam was not recording. I mean, what a disaster. He had to do the whole thing again using a different platform so that he could, you know, show people what he'd been writing on the whiteboard. But, you know, that kind of thing you need to think about. For that reason, I always used to love this one in the middle here. It says, welcome, you had me at hello. That was Meet Cheap and GBO. And I liked that because I had, basically, I'm a kind of person who likes my cake and I like to eat it too. It allowed me to share my screen and at the same time be visible all the way through on webcam. I know a lot of people don't like that. They find that quite difficult, especially if they're trying to focus on what they're doing. But I really do like having, you know, being able to be seen. And that's one of the things about Google Hangouts is it's either or. You know, you see me on screen or you see my slides. Whereas with the Meet Cheap one, I was able to do both, and it had integral chat, and I could see a list of the people, including little flags, you know, from their countries. Unfortunately, I had to bin it because it was just too unreliable. It kept crashing. It just really didn't work very well at all, and that was kind of a bit disappointing for me. I love Webinar Jam because it's got some amazing features inside the Google Hangout itself. And I love Easy Webinar because of the marketing features. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail in a little tip. First of all, though, my top tip, free webinar platform. If you don't have the means right now, especially if you're starting out, and you know, you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can do this for free. Quite simply using Google Hangouts alongside your existing autoresponder. And it works with all of them. Doesn't matter if you're using MailChimp, Aweber, Infusionsoft, you know, Constant Contact, GetResponse, or any of the others. You can do it for free. It's more tricky. There's more for you to set up. One of the advantages of buying a platform is that a lot of the integration is done for you. Especially when it comes to marketing and that kind of thing, and you can make it look nicer. The registration pages are built already. You would have to build your own registration pages if you were going to be doing it this, you know, say using WordPress, if you were going to be doing it this way. And again, this is one of the things that I'm going to be including in the little program that I'm going to be telling you about later on. So my favorites. For educating, so if I'm running my mastermind, I'm either going to use a straight Google Hangout. I don't need to do any marketing because these people are already on my program. So most of the time, I'm just going to use a bog standard Google Hangout. And the reason I do that is because it's just so easy for it to be recorded. And as soon as the session is over, I can send out that recording so that they've got it immediately to rewatch and act upon. Love it. Like I said before, I also love the kind of interface where I can share my slide and see me on webcam and the chat and all the rest of it. And if it's a kind of Q&A session, that kind of thing, I love to have this as well. Like I said, I had to ditch this because it just wasn't stable enough. And you see on this particular one, it started messing around with my webcam. I am experimenting with a new one that I've recently bought, which is Webinar Geo. I think that's what it's called. I haven't experimented with it yet, but I'll keep you posted once I have, and once I know what I'm doing with it. Okay, so my other favorite for marketing is Easy Webinar. And that's what I'm using now. The reason I love Easy Webinar is because it's got heaps of marketing features. as has Webinar Jam, has to be said, but what's different about Easy Webinar is you have advanced autoresponder integration. So for example, Easy Webinar will tell your autoresponders, especially if you're using something like Infusionsoft, for example, as well as just adding it to the list, okay, they all add it to the list. So if you're using Aweber and somebody signs up for your webinar, basically they will get added to your emailing list. But what Easy Webinar does, especially using it with Infusionsoft, and there's a couple of others that it's coming in for as well, it tells you like who turned up and who didn't, who watched all the way through, who left early, that kind of thing. It's amazing. Who clicked the action button, so we're engaged, and who wasn't. It is phenomenal. On top of that, it's run by this guy, Casey Zeman, and he is a really lovely, super guy. He's genuine. He's always in his Facebook group. He answers questions. The support is just super amazing. Now, you'll see just down below, there's a little button for Easy Webinar. If you don't have a platform and you want to check this out, but do check that it will work for you. Remember I said there's no such thing as a best. This is best for me. Think about, is it best for you? And if you think, yeah, I like that, you right click on the Get Access Now. It's just below the video. And that takes you to the Easy Webinar sales page. And I'll give you a little bit of a clue. That is my affiliate link. And if you buy using it, I will give you a one-to-one training session to get you started with Easy Webinar. The price is going up next weekend. So if it's on Easy Webinar 4 now, and they are about to launch Easy Webinar 5 with extra functionality within the webinar itself and more autoresponder integrations. It's going to be super amazing, but because of all those extra things, the price is going up. So if you want to check out getting it now, then you've got about a week to do it. And it would be remiss of me if I didn't tell you about it. So there you go. So that's platform. There's a lot to platform and a lot to all the techie stuff as well. So the next P, now the consequences of this. If you don't do this, basically you're in trouble. And you can end up with lots of effort, no reward, demoralized, confidence drop. You end up thinking webinars are a great big fat waste of time. And it's the difference between having plenty of clients and having no clients at all. And quite simply, this is your promotion. So how do you get people to register? And then, having got them registered, how do you actually get them to attend and turn up? So let's look at getting them registered first. First of all, email lists. If you've got a list, it makes sense to email them and tell them about it. Take out Facebook ads. Now, I'm going to confess, it's great for me to say, hey, yeah, take out Facebook ads. I am not an expert on Facebook ads. I know the basics. But this might be where you need to get additional support and help and get the right training. There's loads of stuff out there on how to do Facebook ads. And if you know of any really, really good Facebook ad training, point me in the right direction, because I'm not that great at getting successful Facebook ads myself. Facebook posts and boosted posts, okay? Just, you know, be upfront with people. Say, hey, I'm running this event and I apologize now, but I'm going to be blathering on about it for the next few days. You know? If people are your friends, they won't mind. And so many people have shared it for me. And remember, not everybody sees what you put on Facebook the first time you post it. So you need to do repeated posts. I probably don't do enough. I should probably do more. Facebook Lives. Again, I'm fairly new to Facebook Lives. I've just been so busy with my move to Spain and everything. That's only recently come up on my radar. Use other social media, so LinkedIn, YouTube, and Google+, and put events up on Facebook and Google+. Okay. Use joint ventures. The best webinar I ever had was through a most amazing joint venture. I know a lot of people are here today because of my good friend Matt Nerona. And JV's connections with people, that's what it's all about. Plus, of course, give people an incentive to share. So when they sign up on the thank you page, you say, hey, thanks. If you share this, you can get access to, you know, XYZ right now. And give them that incentive to share it with their social media. Once you've got them to register, you need to get them to attend. So what that's all about is creating curiosity. one of the best ways of doing that is to give them a workbook with gaps. People like having the gaps filled in. People do not like not knowing. Now, a lot of people will engage because they'll start trying to work out what those gaps are beforehand. Great. You know, if they do, that's fantastic. You're starting to get their attention. Give people reasons to attend. That's why I did my pre-webinar video, to give people the reasons and all, you know, all the reasons why you should be running webinars. Send out reminders. People forget. They mean to do stuff, but they, you know, the best will in the world, they forget. Or they lose the link. It's so much easier if you've got a link, you know, webinar starts in 2 hours, or we're about to go live, here's the link. Save them having to fish out the email from when they signed up, which might be a few days ago. Give them incentives to stay to the end. Now, I've given you incentives to stay to the end of this one. I'm going to give you some extra training, and I'm going to give you 2 downloads of freebies that will really help you. Deliver great content. None of this hot air and fluff. I hope that you agree that I'm giving you masses of content today and things that you can take action on, even if you never go any further with me, that there are things that you can do, you know, with the stuff that I've given you. And remember to deliver with enthusiasm. If you can't get enthusiastic about your stuff, don't expect other people to get enthusiastic, especially to the point where they're going to put their hands in their pockets to come on board with you. It's not going to happen. I understand that sometimes nerves get in the way, but that's where working with somebody like me to help you through those nerves, and by doing it lots of times and getting practice with safe audiences, helps you with that. You have to be enthusiastic. You don't have to be a, you know, ram it down people's throat kind of thing, but you have to be enthusiastic about what you're doing. So those are the first 4 P's. Obviously the 5th P is profit, and I promised to tell you exactly what I did when I made my first big success with my where I made the difference between earning less than $100 and suddenly earning over $16,000, which at that time was a little over £10,000. So what I did was I got 100 people on the webinar. Now, first thing is, and this is my first mistake, and it harks back to platform. I was using at the time GoToWebinar, and I only had 100 people able to turn up, and I had over 600 people register for it. I assumed that those who couldn't get on live would all watch the replay, and they didn't. I was gutted. I probably could have made twice, if not 3 times the amount, if I'd had the right platform and done the right planning. But just on the 100 people who were there, I sold 29 sales of $47. I had my speaking program, which I did a really great offer on, brought the price down to $47. That meant that on the webinar itself, I earned $1,363. Not bad for an hour's work. Well, if you count all the hours of preparation before, it's probably a lot more than that, but you know where I'm coming from. Afterwards, 2 people bought, and now they didn't sign up in time before the discount went, but they still bought at the $97 price. This is in the follow-up. And then I did some sessions where I gave, again, some planning, some speaking strategy sessions. Now, these weren't sales pitches. I have to say, none of my strategy sessions or mentoring sessions that I offer as a bonus are sales pitches. Right at the very end, I said, do you want to know how to work with me further? Yes, please. Right. Okay, so this is what you can do. This is what I'm running. If you're interested, we can either have a separate conversation, or if you like, I'll tell you now. One person I actually met in person, and I got one person who joined my VIP program and paid up front, which was discounted if they paid up front, and that was $2,745. And I had 4 people come on board on a monthly option. So that was worth, over the course of the year, $11,856. So the sales total tally for that webinar was $16,158. And the follow-up is the difference between the 1,300 and the 1,600. Okay, and I'm going to talk more about follow-up in a minute. That's how I did it. And I was nobody knew me. I did have a great joint venture partner, and I did get a lot of people on because of that. But otherwise, they didn't know me from Adam. They, you know, there's a lot of trust when you work with joint ventures. If you're recommended by somebody, you do get borrowed trust, which is fantastic and a really good reason to nurture those relationships. So do the maths. If you give one talk or webinar, what could that provide you with? Okay, specifically webinars, considering that's what we're talking about today. What would just one VIP client be worth to you? And what about 10 mid-ranges? Or 20 to 30 low-end ones? What would that give you? It is worth doing it because you start small. You could end up with a 10,000, webinar like I did. Or you can build up slowly. But I mean, crikey, even if you made a couple of thousand, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Okay, so the profit is made up of two things. First of all, the right kind of presentation and the follow-up and repurposing. Let me tell you a bit more about the follow-up. Now, you have to, at the very least, send out emails thanking people for registering, sending them out the replay for if they want to watch it again or if they didn't make it first time, reminding them of your offer, and and then follow up after that as well. This is one of the things I love about some of the more advanced stuff. You can get really tailored. Now, this is an Infusionsoft campaign that I'm showing you here. And this was a webinar that I put together where I had a pre-webinar sequence that went on beyond the webinar itself. But then I also had different sequences, depending, first of all, on whether they attended or didn't attend. But you can even get more complex than that and have different emails going out depending on where they are in your customer funnel. So for me, this particular webinar was selling my gold level speaker system. So I wanted a different email to those who were not yet a customer, to those who were at silver and I just wanted them to upgrade to gold. There were some who attended the webinar who were already gold. And I thought, well, okay, let's offer them an upgrade to my VIP. And there were some who do attend my webinars, even though they're my VIP clients, just because I'm so blessed, they love me so much, they even attend my promotional webinars because they know they're still going to get great content and great reminders, in which case, I just want to send them an email saying, thanks for supporting me, it was great to see you on a webinar, look forward to working with you soon. End of. You don't want to sell them stuff that they've already bought, So there's so much you can do with the follow-up. So there you go. To profit, you want these three things: presentation that sells, the right kind of follow-up, and repurposing. By repurposing is what you're going to do with the webinar itself afterwards. And I'm running out of time a little bit, so I'm not going to go into that massively now. But basically, it's using rebroadcasting and changing it to an automated webinar. So it was live, now it's automated. And I can teach you in more depth how to do all of that. Like I said, you're not going to learn absolutely everything in an hour. It took me 5 years to get to this point, so bear with me if I leave some bits out when I've only promised to give you to be done within an hour. So there you have it. That's the profitable webinar blueprint. So just to recap, if you're struggling at all to get clients, if you want your business to soar, you need webinars. And you need to do all these things: the planning, the presentation, the platform, the promotion, and the profit. So I'm still going to give you some training on how to do this elegantly and how to sell, and I'm going to give you the downloads. But first of all, let me invite you. This is a personal invitation to a boot camp that I'm going to be running on the 17th of October. And I'm going to tell you about this in 5 minutes or less. So you can time me if you like. It's taking place, it's an 8-week boot camp starting on the 17th of October. And there should be a little button down below that if you want to join me and get the details, you can click on that and you can join in. I have got shed loads of outcomes for you. You are going to have the ultimate webinar ready to take advantage of the new year market. You'll kick off 2017 with a bang and a cash injection. You're going to be able to plan for any webinar that will convert and sell in the future. Okay, you'll be able to structure your webinars to talk about all the things that I've talked about so far. You're going to be able to do it differently and avoid all those things that people hate and yet still engage with them. I'm going to give you heaps of confidence because you'll know what you're doing. I'm going to give you confidence in the platforms as well as the presentation itself. I can't teach you all the bells and whistles of all of the platforms, but I'm going to show you the most popular ones, and certainly the ones that I'm using on a regular basis. I will teach you how to use Google Hangouts. So even if you want to do it using free platform, you will know how to do it. How to promote your webinar, how to follow up, and all the rest of it. And I'm going to, for anybody who does have Infusionsoft, and particularly if you want to use Easy Webinar and those two together, I'm going to give you some bonus training and some advanced webinar campaigning, which will really make you look like a king in the webinar market. So included in all that is obviously all the content about my blueprint and the 5C killer presentation stuff. There's going to be video tutorials coming out every Monday. I'm going to give you PDF guides. You're going to have presentation templates that you can follow and just fill in with your own stuff. I'm going to give you some in-depth reviews on some of those popular platforms so you know what to look for in choosing your own. I'm going to be giving you, as I said, techie tutorials on them, pre-recorded webinars that I've done before, loads of bonus material and automatic updates. So like I said, it's 8 weeks, starting on the 17th. You're going to get a pre-course work. So if you sign up now, you can actually get started immediately. You'll get a video every Monday, a live Q&A session with me every Thursday so that you will be able to ask questions. I'll have a private Facebook group where I'll be answering questions in between the live sessions, and then I'll have a bonus mop-up afterwards for any questions, because everybody goes at a different speed, and you know, for stragglers, for people who might got a little bit behind. Okay, so now what's this going to cost? Obviously there's an investment. Now I was told that, well, any other people doing this kind of thing are charging around £1,500, and certainly I paid $997 for a 6-week boot camp 5 years ago. So $1,500 is not an unrealistic price, but I'm going to be upfront with you, that's not what I'm going to be charging. On top of that, I'm going to give you bonuses. You're going to get my full lifetime silver membership of the 5-Star Speaker Academy. So that's complete access to all my wicked webinar training, and there's masses of stuff in there, and that's lifetime membership, archive of loads of member-only webinars and stuff. Confidence is a big thing. So I've got my complete 8-module based on my book, and you get a copy of my book, which is basically everything to do with confidence, whether you're speaking on stage or on webinars. And that I'm going to be selling on my website separately at $97. Plus, if you register by midnight on Sunday and are one of the first 10 to do so, I'll give you a kickstart one-to-one session with me to help you nail the purpose and planning of your webinar. And like I said, that is not a pitch fest, that is content. And it's mentoring. If at the end of that you decide, well, I want more of that, cool, I'll tell you how you can get more of it. But it is a mentoring session and not a sales call, okay? I guarantee that. So those are the bonuses if you jump on board quickly. So the total value of that, if you add them all up, and this is not inflated, guys, these are genuine prices. The total value is $19.94. I hate those, you know, the ones where they make it look like it's something like 18,000 or 30,000. But those are genuine. Other people are charging $1,500, and then those bonuses are real prices that I sell my other programs for. And I was going to sell today for $497, and then I changed my mind because I know that a lot of people are starting out. And I had a conversation with Matt, and I said, you know, I really want to help people, so I actually dropped it yesterday to $297. Okay, so it's crazy, and a lot of people will tell me I'm a mug, but I really want to deliver. I want to be the person who delivers great content with integrity that people will be so happy to recommend me, because I guarantee that this is going to be amazing stuff. It is a pilot, so future ones probably will be near the 497 mark. Okay, so yeah, I'm testing all the processes, make sure everything works basically. So if you jump on board, and if you're one of the first people to do, you'll get extra one-to-one session from me as well. That's pretty much it. I said I'd do it in 5 minutes. I think I might have slightly gone over, but testimonials here. How would you like it if somebody posted this testimonial unsolicited on Facebook about one of your webinars? you know, and I was thrilled when I got that kind of feedback. And if you come on board this training, you will also get this kind of feedback. Again, this is another lady. She really did not want to run webinars, but when she went through my training, she's doing such great stuff now. She does live interviews all the time. She's an absolute pro now. And on top of that, I give you a money back guarantee. If you don't think I'm giving you great value, I promise that I'll give you your money back. I can't really say any fairer than that, can I? So come on board. I would love to have you with me. And like I said, just a reminder, the first 10 will get a free one-to-one webinar planning session with me. So the button that you need is just down below to get all the details and to come on board. So let me tell you, I promised you my top trade secret number 2. So this is absolutely about the best way of getting sales. Don't just sell at the end. In fact, don't sell at all. First of all, what you need to do is see the need and drive the desire all the way through. So if you go back and watch this webinar again, okay, you're going to get the replay, so go back and watch it again, and you'll see that I've been seeding why you should have webinars, what it can do for you, and what the consequences is of not doing things right all the way through. Okay, and it's true. This is not, you know, again, when I say seed the need and drive the desire, there's a difference between doing this in a hypey way and in a genuine way. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not frightening people. I'm not, you know, doing things which are unethical. And what you're going to do when you're working with your people is think, well, are you doing them a disservice by letting them continue in pain when you can move forward? It's quite simple as that. But you do this all the way through. And then when you get to the end, you don't like sell, you don't force it down their throats and say, you must do this because if not, you're a complete plonker. You don't do that. That's not nice. I've been in, oh my goodness, I've been in some of these programs where, and live seminars, where it's this run to the back of the room stuff. And people who are still sat in their chairs, they make them feel so small, you know? Don't do that to people. It's disrespectful, it's rude, and it's not nice. You don't need to. And there are going to be people who are watching this. It's not the right time for you to buy and come on board with my boot camp. And that's fine. You know, you're not daft, you're not stupid. It's just timing a lot of the time. But if the timing is right, and if it is the right thing for people, invite them to buy. So come with me. You know, I'd love to have you on my journey. So it's an elegant invitation. It's not ramming stuff people down, you know, down their throats. So that actually is my top tip number 2. And what I want you to do is go back, look through the webinar, and just see how I've done that, and see what you can do to emulate that. And what bits you like and what bits you don't like. Remember as well, it's got to be your style. My style is not going to be your style. So what would work for you? What wouldn't work for you? What do you think would work for your audience? What wouldn't work for your audience? Yeah, and just kind of just think, yeah, how am I going to do that? And then make a nice, elegant invite. Now, remember your downloads, the buttons, so I'm just going to check. The buttons should have come up for you to download. Yeah, the download buttons are there as well now. So underneath the video here, you have got the button to sign up for the bootcamp itself. And you've got the buttons to download your ebook, which is a 32-page, I think, Ultimate Guide to Webinars ebook, and also your webinar checklist, planning checklist as well. So remember, I'm inviting you to join me. It would be brilliant to have you on board. I would love it. You've only got a week to make up your mind, so there is a little bit of scarcity and urgency there. And if you sign up before the end of the weekend, you will get the opportunity to have that free mentoring session with me as well, but I can only take the first 10, and I'll be promoting like crazy, not just on this webinar, but to my list and all through my joint venture partners as well. So make sure you're one of the first 10. You've got the first knowledge on this webinar, so take advantage of being here and showing up. So that's it. I did it within the hour, and hopefully you'll see that I pretty much did just over 5 minutes intro, just over 5 minutes on telling you about the actual boot camp itself. So there's good 45 to 50 minutes of content there. And this is what you can give to your people. So are there any questions? I'm just going to go through, bear with me while I go through and read some of the questions that you've put in for me. Okie dokie. So we've got we've got some people who go for the WordPress plugin Webinar System Pro. I'm not familiar with that one, so I'm not entirely certain. I won't be able to give you too much training on that one. I can only see the sign up button now, no downloads. Hopefully they should have come up now. They've certainly come up on my test one that I've got up here. If not, you will get them at the end of the replay. And if you have any problems after that, email me separately and I'll make sure you get them. Okay, so if I promise you something you don't get, please get in touch with me and I will rectify it. But it might be that you just need to refresh. I'm not sure, but I don't know why they haven't come up. They've come up for my test person. Okay, so any questions? Any questions? That's either because I've answered questions as we've gone along, or I've just given you so much to think about, I've stunned you into silence. So now's your opportunity, guys. I know there's people out there. I can see you on my screen as I have viewers. So if you've got any questions, then type away in the chat box and let me know what they are. Sort of questions I had when I first started doing webinars was, I don't know how often to do them. I don't know what to do them about. And these are the kind of things that I will be covering in my boot camp. Okay, so that's really weird. Download buttons are not coming up for somebody. So, okay, yeah, email me and I'll make sure you get those, or Facebook message me and I'll make sure you get those downloads. That's weird. I don't understand why they come up for some people and not others. Okay, Teresa's saying, love your advice on selling in inverted commas. Yeah, it's I mean, let's face it, Matt Nerona, my amazing super sales coach, I've been working with Matt, and there's a little plug for Matt. Anybody who's on the webinar, actually a lot of people here already know Matt and already clients of Matt, but he's really helped me massively. Number one, you do have to get your head around selling. You know, you do have to sell. And that's where I went wrong. You know, I said earlier I was giving loads and loads of webinars and I wasn't selling. I wasn't selling in any shape or form. And then I was selling badly and I sounded desperate, you know, because I was back then. But you don't have to sell in the way that I was being taught by some of the wrong people. You know, about all these nasty techniques and, oh, if you don't do this now, you're going to be a plonker, and if you don't do this now, it's going to be gone. And no, this isn't going to be gone. I would love it if you signed up right now, because you can then get started. You can get started on the material. You know, you can guarantee that you're in one of the first 10. But, you know, I understand that people sometimes need time to think about it. So I'm not saying you've got to sign up by midnight, otherwise you lose this. That's not fair. I mean, okay, if you're selling something which is maybe $47, you can do that because that's more of an impulse purchase, that it's not a big deal if people sign up and then they decide not to do anything with it. But as soon as you go over, you know, a couple of $100, yeah, people want to think about that. Some people are, no, that sounds brilliant, give it me, you know. Some people might want the weekend to think about it. So, you know, be respectful. Think about your audience. Think about where they're at, and do it in a way where you're just inviting them. You know, this is, if you give them great value and you put an offer in front of people and just invite them to take you up on that offer, then if it's right for them and if you've given them a great offer, then they will do it. It's not about selling. Then isn't about ramming stuff down people's throats that they don't want or need. It's about connecting with people who do have a need for what you've got. It's about making an offer that is a really good, genuine, content, value-driven offer, and then just inviting them to buy, inviting them to come on board with you. It's as simple as that. Like I said, it's an invitation. Okay, there's a couple of ways here that you can contact me if you want to ask any more questions after this is finished. But like I said, it's an invitation. It's not do this or you're bonkers and you've got to do it now or your computer's going to explode type thing. You know, that's based on fear. I don't want to scare people to death. You know, that's not what I'm all about, and I'm sure that's not what you're all about. It's just love to have you, love to work with you, and we'd have some fun. So, you know, hey, come to the party. Right, I've got a couple more. Let's see what else we've got. Can you put the download links again? It's really weird. They should be there. If you scroll down, okay, if some people are getting these download links and some people are not, and I have absolutely no idea why that is. I've got them on my test person. Let me check with one of my other test people. I've got a couple of test peoples. Okay, and one person hasn't. Right, try, if you haven't got the download links, guys, try refreshing. If not, I will make sure you get them. Just email me and I will personally email you the download links. That's really weird because, yeah, I'll have to, I don't know, I might have done something. I don't know, I don't understand, guys. As I say, I'm not a technical genius. I've set them up, they're coming up on my test person. So I don't know why they're not showing for you. But if you email me, I will make sure that you get them. Okay, now they've come up, but not necessarily clickable for everybody. Okay. Don't you just love it when, because I did this and I tested it to within an inch of its life, and they are working on my test person that I have live. So if they're not working for you, I'm flummoxed, guys, but that's small fry. Do you know, now the other thing is as well, don't get flummoxed if not everybody gets everything and not everything works technologically wise. One of the things that somebody said to me, and one of my VIP clients said that she came on board with my VIP program because she actually loved the way that things went wrong for me, but I just took it in my stride and didn't get thrown by it. And let me tell you now, when you're running live webinars, not all the technology will work perfect every time. In fact, it's pretty much guaranteed that something will go wrong on every single one. But you just got to handle it, and I'll teach you how to do that. So like, for example, at the very beginning, some people were saying they couldn't log on. Now, I knew that there were several people logged on, so I knew that it wasn't a problem with my software. So in that case, you just have to let that go and say, sorry, guys, you'll get the replay. It could be your internet connection. It could be a million different things that you know, means that some people get it and some don't. Same with these links. It's not the end of the world. I've promised you the downloads and I guarantee you will have them. So if you're not getting them on this live webinar right now, I will personally email them to you. So I'm not going to be overly worried because you will get them. Okay, any more questions? If there's no more questions, I'm going to say, yeah, thanks, Teresa. Teresa's saying that hers are all up and working. Bizarre. There you go. That's live. That's live TV. That's live webinars. That's live broadcasting, peeps. But there's ways around it. There's always a plan B. There's always a plan B. And that's one of the things I'll be able to teach you as well. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to love you and leave you. For those of you who are still with me, just type in and say what you're going to be doing the rest of the day. I'm going to be, it's 5:10 for me now, so I'm going to have some nice food. And I've got a nice salsa party to go to later. That's my passion. That's what I do. So what are you guys doing for this evening? It's a Saturday night. So I hope you all have a great time. I know some of you have across the pond, so you've still got the rest of the day to enjoy. Okay, thank you so much, Tina. A few things I need to consider at the stage, and I'll be in touch. Fantastic. Oh, one thing I should have said as well, for any of you who know people who would be interested in this bootcamp, I am going to be setting up an affiliate scheme. So if you want to earn a bit of money by recommending this over the next week to people that you know, I'm saying this with a slight hesitation in my voice because as yet I do not know how to set up my affiliate scheme. But if you're interested in being an affiliate partner and you know people who might be interested that you think would love this bootcamp, get in touch and I'll you can be my guinea pigs on how to set up my affiliate program. And then you could and I'm going to be offering 50%. So if you want to know how to maybe earn a little bit and be my guinea pigs as well, then get in touch and that would be fantastic. Oh, brilliant. You know some people who would be interested. Fantastic. So you can be one of my first guinea pigs and hopefully earn a little bit out of recommendations. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hate going. I love doing this kind of thing. I love connecting with you. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen so I can say goodbye in person. There we go. Stop. So, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great having you interact with me and put comments and questions in the chat box as well. I need to get you chatting to me a little bit more throughout because that's the bit I love most. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to with the new Easy webinar is that there's going to be an integral chat feature so that you can chat not just with me more easily, but with each other as well. Because that's one thing I really do love about creating engagement with webinars is a chat feature. So that's it. For those of you who want to come and join me, it'd be great to see you on the boot camp. And I will be, you'll probably hear nothing more from me over the next week. I'm going to be like going on because I'm really excited. And have a great day. And I'll look forward to seeing you very, very soon. And don't forget, get in touch if you didn't get your download links or if you want to be one of my first guinea pig affiliate partners. So have a great weekend. See you soon.